Hello guys, welcome to a new camera sample video, this time about the Vernee X. This phone is advertised to come with a dual main camera based on a 16 megapixel main sensor and a 5 megapixel secondary sensor, as well as a dual front camera with a 13 megapixel main sensor and again a 5 megapixel secondary sensor. Now, already in the unboxing and first impressions video I told that I seriously doubt that those specifications are true. I considered the main camera to be interpolated and the secondary camera to be fake, and meanwhile I had a closer look at that, and indeed I was right about this. So the main dual camera has a main sensor with 13 megapixels, so the 16 megapixels interpolated. It's a Sony IMX258 sensor, so it's not too bad, and it's got an f2.0 aperture. The secondary sensor, however, is just the usual fake. As you can see by the tiny lens on there, it's just a VGA sensor instead of the advertised 5 megapixel sensor. And once again, it's based on the Octa-Core GC0310 sensor. The front camera is also not based on a 13 megapixel main sensor, but it's again interpolated. It's a 8 megapixel OmniVision OV8856 sensor with f2.8 aperture. And again, the secondary sensor here, as you can see, once again from the tiny lens, is a GC0310 VGA sensor. So not a real dual camera setup, just the usual fake. Before we have a look at actual samples, let's have a look at the camera software running on there. And that's just the usual modded MTK camera app you get with most Chinese dual camera phones these days. So you have a mode selector here above the shutter button and the gallery shortcut. And it's just unfortunate that you can't easily switch between those modes by scrolling here. You need to switch between each and every mode there to get to the desired mode. There also is a Pro mode, as you can see, but it doesn't do much. There is no manual focus or exposure time or anything like that, so it's not really useful. The main modes you are gonna using there is photo and video, which however are easily accessible. There also is a shortcut for the zoom, which is of course not optical but just a digital zoom. On the top we can select the flash mode, we can switch to the front camera, and there's a little menu button which gives you an HDR mode as well as the options including aspect ratio and of course also the resolution of the pictures. Or if you are in video mode, you can select the video resolution, which by the way is full HD for the main camera, no EIS or anything like that there. Just continuous autofocus is supported, which works surprisingly well. The front camera can record with only 480p, which is really unfortunate and really not up to date. It really is a pity. Okay, now let's have a look at actual camera samples, and as you can see at daylight the camera performs not too bad at all. Even here with those samples where the lighting conditions haven't been perfect, there was no bright sunshine, just very cloudy sky, and as you can see the amount of detail is actually pretty good there, and also the colors look very realistic, so that's definitely a good thing. In terms of dynamic range, the camera doesn't always perform perfect, but most of the time it's just okay to my surprise. Close-ups look very detailed as well, as you can see, and also here colors once again look really good. But when it comes to pictures of something very far away, you see that the detail suffers. They look a little bit more unsharp, less detailed, but still usable for smaller screens. Of course, if you look at them on a television, they don't look perfect anymore, but that's something I personally can live with. When it comes to low light pictures, the camera of course doesn't perform so well there. There's just a lack of optimization, and yeah, the small aperture value also doesn't help much, and also the LED flash, despite being rather bright, doesn't help much there. As you can see, the detail suffers and there's quite a lot of noise in those pictures. But when it comes to close-ups and macro shots with the LED flash, I'm surprised to see a lot of detail there. Colors don't look washed out, and there also is no sign of overexposure, so that's not too bad there. Of course, when it comes to the dual camera mode, the bokeh mode is just fake, just a software generated thing without any edge detection, so pretty much unusable, looks just really crappy. Also for the front camera, this bokeh mode is fake too. Again, no edge detection or anything like that. Selfies look okay at daylight, not perfect again, but definitely usable as long as you don't have any very high expectations. But when the lighting conditions get worse, of course, the camera doesn't produce any usable results anymore. Lots of noise and no detail at all. And also the front LED flash doesn't help anything, especially when it comes to pictures you take in complete darkness. The videos recorded with the main camera, as I said, are recorded in Full HD and look okay. I have seen better Full HD footage, but it's definitely acceptable. What's kind of sad is that there is no image stabilization, but at least you get continuous autofocus, which works halfway decent and isn't too slow like on most phones out there. But one issue there is that the audio isn't synchronized. So if you talk, the audio isn't synced to your lips, which is a big con. And also a con is that the front camera can only record, as I said previously, in 480p, which isn't up to date at all, and those, well, videos are kind of useless. So yeah, I think that's all you need to know about the camera performance of the Vernee X. Thanks for watching this video sample and stay tuned for the full review on the Vernee X. Bye bye. This is a full HD recording test using the main camera of the Vernee X. It has continuous autofocus and it is pretty fast actually, but not overly reliable. And that's the front camera of the Vernee X, and that's just crappy 480p, maximum resolution, pretty bad.